ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Xbox the Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Potato, and I'm with my good friend, Alice. How you doing, Alice?
Hi, my pronouns are she, they, and this week has been, totally insane because, it's probably just gone through a dry summer, and then as soon as we got into, the middle of September, when we should be, going about Starfield, but there's been lots of news, Unity is suffering because of the install fees. There's the massive Xbox leak, and that will be a topic that we could be covering much later. And we also have some other news, which is going to make it a podcast episode so huge that we somehow shoved a lot of the stuff out. We cut the Nintendo Direct and the State of Play with it. There's a little bit of news there. But I think it's just better to focus on those two things.
We were planning to have our Starfield review app, but I haven't finished the main story yet. I don't think you've finished the main story yet either. So I feel like give it an extra week because this week's been a bit of a hectic one. So I think it's a good time to give it a week off. Also, you missed the biggest news out of all. Bluey is getting a video game. Oh my god, the Bluey video game is coming out. That should be our topic of the show. Screw the Xbox league.
Well, it should have been breaking news.
Breaking news, Bluey, the video game. Get it made, get it done. It's coming to Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. Coming soon.
Oh my god. Because I think we know what to give my nephew for Christmas.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. No, but on a serious note, we have got a lot to cover because this Xbox leak is probably the biggest leak in video game history. I think a lot of people are saying that. And I think it's probably true because there's a lot to cover. And we probably won't even be able to cover it all in one episode, to be honest. So let's just crack on with things, I guess. So in our off topic, we did want to briefly mention the Achievement Hunter, one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time, seems to be dead. The 4 people who were left at Achievement Hunter have decided to go off and do their own thing called Dog Bark, I believe it's called.
Dog Bark is just pondering what ifs and bits like that. So I don't know if it's a YouTube or podcast, but I thought probably not, because I don't think it's going to ever
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, it's not going to replace Achievement Hunter, because it's what really got us closer to Rooster Teeth and enjoy all those achievement stuff. But I think the best thing is that you have Let's Plays, so they have really the biggest Minecraft, there's the biggest GTA, and even a bunch of Ubisoft's games. It's there's a band of rock stars, but when the main members dropped flies, and now they're just keeping it freestyle, they ended up not getting so many views on the videos, and I thought, I think it's going to fade into obscurity. And then suddenly, Rooster Teeth has a huge major revamp. They changed a lot of things there, and now they're just going to put more of their shows into Rooster Teeth first. So, I mean, it's just they want to try to turn themselves into the big entertainment channel, but I think it's just inevitable that Achievement Hunter is finished, and now people just went on to be happy to do their own projects. So I think it can be positive in a way, but it does mean we don't have Achievement Hunter anymore. So yeah.
I mean, Achievement Hunter was one of my favorite things to watch. When the peak, when it was Ray and Gavin and Michael, Team Nice Dynamite, and then Jack and Jeff and all that. They were all the original Minecraft series. The first 20, 30 episodes were really good. I really enjoyed every single one of them. It's a shame, and it's inspired me a lot with my YouTube channels throughout the years, but. We're not going anywhere. So if you need your Xbox goodness, you can just stay with us at Xbox the Box. But yeah, it is sad to see the end of Achievement Hunter, and hopefully maybe they'll reboot it in some way. But it does seem weird that it's going to be good. Becoming an archive channel. So they said an archive channel is going to become, which is weird.
Well,
I don't like it.
Well, do you think you would rather have Ruby VTuber who plays games instead?
Well, that's another thing, isn't there? They said because I watched the announcement video about it about dog. This is really not really an Xbox topic, but we will touch about on it briefly. In the dog bar video, they did mention the fact that Lindsay's going to be doing VTubing, isn't she, for Achievement Hunter as
Really,
Ruby?
those.
Yeah, which is a bit weird. I never understand the whole VTubing thing, but I know it's really popular. So if people are into it, that's cool. Good for them. Not really my thing, but you know, if you like it, awesome. I get it though, because like, you know, for years I wasn't confident enough to show myself on camera, and now I'm like, yeah, who gives a shit? People will look at me like, I'm fine with it now. But for years and years and years, I was too shy to do camera work, so I prefer just to do my voice. So I get why people would want to do VTubing, I guess, like, you know, have a persona and a character they can talk behind, which I think is a cool idea, but it's also a lot of effort, and I prefer just to put the camera on and be like, hey guys.
Do you consider VTubing a good opportunity for you?
Possibly. Give it a couple of years when I'm really old. I'm already haggard, but when I'm a bit worse, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like just being myself. I mean, I have my character, which we're really going off topic here, but whatever. Okay, so I mean, my channel was always Potatochief, and Potato was my persona, my YouTube personality, I guess. But that over the years, it's become more and more just me. I'm not really any different to like Lewis, which is obviously my real name. So I'm not really any different to myself anymore. I used to kind of try and put a bit of a personality to hide it and be a bit more hyper, like yeah. But I'm pretty much the same in real life. Like we literally will have a conversation in real life on Xbox. It'll be pretty much exactly the same as our conversations here on Xbox the box. So there's not really any difference at all. I'm no different in real life. If you meet me in real life, you'll just find them exactly the same. So yeah, I mean, YouTubing's not really my thing, but hey, it's an opportunity for some people. Some people will love it. So cool for them. Anyway, we got off topic. Let's start off our show like how we always start off with what we've been playing. Briefly, I'm going to try and kind of keep this short because we got a lot to get through. We've both been playing F-099. What do you think of it? I think it's fun.
Yeah, I tried it too, and I think this is like the closest you can get to the new F-Zero game. It's just like it takes the Super Nintendo game and just turn into a battle royale, but it's good. It's it doesn't take long for the races, and you just have to act strategically, collect the orbs to do super boost, and then make it to the finish line. But what's great about it, you can get unlocks for your profile card, and also like machines with different colors and patterns. And I think that's like, wow, it's really cool. So I definitely like to check it out more.
I think I went for the pink car that had the best acceleration and turn in.
Oh, is it that's what I went for. Pink Stingray, is it?
Yeah, because I think the blue one is the Nick. Yeah, I think the blue one is like the Blue Falcon, which is obviously the one everyone knows. That's like a balanced car, but then each one has like got pros and cons. Like one's faster, one's got better acceleration, one's got better handling. I think I'm thinking Mario Kart logic. Mario Kart, I go for cars with pure acceleration because if you get hit by a weapon, it gives you literally 0.5 seconds. I'm back on the track again, and I'm back in the race with a good acceleration. So that's my logic. But
I tend to go for the Golden Fox, but I often mix in with like the Blue Falcon. But there's also like Wild Goose and Pink Stingray, and that's all you get with this whole game. Stingray,
I think I use. Yeah, but there's only 4 cars, which is a bit lazy, but you know.
Well, I don't know. It depends because Nintendo are like looking to put more tracks in and probably turn it into a fully fledged game. But it's HD remastered, and also you get to race with 99 other people as well. So it's just like 98 people as well. And I think this is what we want for the F-Zero. A F-Zero game where you race against 29 other people in like huge tracks. And it's a lot to ask for. And yet Nintendo keeps like shrugging it off, just like what they're doing with like Star Fox.
Well, I think if a lot of people play F-Zero 99, they'll see that there is a fan base behind it. People are actually interested in like a real version. I like it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's actually proper 3D, but they've used the 2D So it looks like the Super Nintendo game, and they've actually remodeled a lot of stuff, so it's actually 3D, even though it's like like Super Nintendo games are not actually 3D; they're like 2D images that move. It's actually they've actually like redone a lot of the stuff, and I think it's really interesting. They got the spin move, which is that's from F-Zero X, I believe. That wasn't in the original game, and then the original game didn't have multiplayer. And you got a couple of extra little things that the original game didn't have. So it is an improvement on the original F-Zero, and I think it's a lot of fun. I personally would have loved a new F-Zero GX remake or like an upgraded version of that. But I'm really happy with this. You could see our reactions of the whole director on the channel, and I was freaking out when this game came out. I was really excited. So, yeah. So,
well,
also we've both been playing.
I think it's important to know that F-Zero GX should be like remastered because they already did it like Metroid Prime, Luigi's Mansion 2, and also even Paper Mario. So I hope they can bring out F-Zero GX with AX included and release it on the Switch. I mean, this is another step so we can like have more F-Zero on Nintendo systems.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally excited for some more F-Zero. Fingers crossed. Maybe it'll be a Switch 2 launch title, the Super Switch or whatever. 4K, 60 frames a second F-Zero. Yeah. Why not? Speaking of 4K, 60... That was a terrible transition. Starfields! We've both been playing Starfield. We have our Starfield podcast, which is Space Skyrim. Which we'll be talking to great detail about what we've been playing. It's essentially what we've been playing in Starfield, but extended over a whole hour because we can just talk about it freely and have fun with it. How's Starfield going for you? I'm loving it so far.
Well, I'm about to reach 100 hours, most of which is like setting up outposts. But now I'm just like, grab some resources, got lots of money, and built what is essentially the ultimate ship. So I got the Starship Design level 4, so I can grab the best parts, slap them on the ship, and hopefully I can get it all nicely designed. So when it's all done, it could be ready by the 5th episode of like Space Skyrim. But yeah, this is where it gets all the facilities there, so we can like have all 6 people on board. And I'm still like trying to make sure I have enough money to get shielded cargo. And if you go to the Red Mile, there's a double jammer or something like that lets you like jam up the people from like scanning your ship for contraband. And it's just where people can smuggle contraband into other planets and unlock achievements. So it's quite cool.
I didn't know that. I got smuggling space from my time with the Crimson Fleet. So I finished the Crimson Fleet storyline. Now everyone hates me.
Why?
Well, because I'm a pirate now. I'm a baddie. I decided with the bad. So, do you want to team up with the good guys or the pirates? I'm like, the pirates are way cooler. The good guys are lame. So we're going to go with the pirates. So I help the pirates out, and then everyone in Constellation's like, why would you help the pirates? You've made our lives worse. I'm like, oh, shut up, you whinger. I liked being a pirate. It was fun doing the pirate missions. I thought they were really good. Also, like, I mean, I don't get into spoilers, but minor spoilers I get. Well, it's not even a spoiler, really. It's like you're meant to do certain missions like stealth for the like the good guys, like because you're like kind of a double agent. I mean, that's a spoiler, but okay, I'm like a double agent.
I think you're referring to the main story mission, is it?
No, I'm literally on about the Crimson Fleet story here. So you're meant to be good. You're not meant to kill anyone because you're meant to be an undercover cop or whatever. But then Andrea, when I was with her, she was just killing people. And then they go, and when I got to the guy, he's like, you killed so many civilians. I'm like, I didn't do nothing. I did nothing. She did. She killed everyone. And I got in trouble for that. So I was like, oh, fuck this. I'm going to be a pirate then. Screw you. I'm not getting in trouble for something that's not my fault. Well, it's so annoying.
I think what you could have done, like, you asked her to stay behind when you do the missions. Or if you really want to be with her, you can just pick pockets and she will like you for it.
Yeah, which is weird. That's a kink that she likes people who steal stuff. Speaking of that, I'm engaged to Sarah. I was about to get married and I got distracted by a side mission. So I go to this planet to get married. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to the planet, and then it's like a spaceship, and then it's a side mission right next to that planet. So I'm in the middle of that side mission, but I will get married soon. I had like a nice suit prepared. So I was going to go dress in a nice suit. I'm going to get married on this planet with Sarah. Yeah, it's good fun. The thing that I was thinking about this earlier is like Sarah saying stuff like, "I love you. You're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me," and all that. It's like I kind of feel bad. It's like it's a video game, you know. It's like I'm not a real person. It's all fictional. This is not happening. So like I feel bad. Like I'm almost like I'm leading this woman on because like it's like I don't actually have any feelings for you, Sarah. I'm just playing a video game here. So I'm sorry.
For me, I did not go into the Crimson Fleet stuff, and I should really join because I heard that
It's fun.
I think it was the Kree or some sort.
Free.
Yeah, the key or some sort.
The key. Yeah, the key.
Apparently, this one has a lot of vendors under one roof, and you can sell all your stuff there.
And your contraband, and you can sell contraband and stolen stuff.
Yes.
And you can they also have like illegal stuff that you can buy for your ship and stuff. Very cool. The Crimson Fleet is really they're awesome. I like the Crimson Fleet as a team. They're like the people in the Crimson Fleet. I think are really cool. And then I go back to Constellation. It's like, how dare you work with the Crimson Fleet? How dare you like these people? I'm like, oh man, they're cool. Leave them alone. And like I said, like, oh, you haven't given them a chance. And then she goes, oh, I think I have actually. It's like, oh, all right, shut up, Sarah. I think I've given him more than a fair chance. It's like, no, you haven't. Shut up, Sarah. You whinger. But yeah, I've had a little break from Starfield the last few days because I've been playing Halo Infinite.
Well, before we get to that, I also mention I didn't do the Crimson Fleet missions, but I did a little bit of the United Colonies, but also completed a 3-star Rangers storyline. So I just beat them all and got a free ship with it. And
I heard that's the best ship in the game.
Yeah.
Or one of the best ships in the game.
So I got that along with the Razor Leaf. So it's just like, yeah, cool. I got some stuff there. But I'm just going to continue to power grind and hopefully return to do quest lines before the game.
What level are you now? What level are you now? Because last time we spoke, you were level 30 odd, and that was like a week into the game. I imagine you're like level 2000 or something now because you've been leveling up crazy. Like, what level are you?
It's actually level 90 in a minute.
Bloody hell. I'm level 21 and I've been doing all the stories and everything. It's just oh my god, that's crazy. Oh man, it's because you got to the outskirts and shot loads of like really like high level enemies in there on the outskirts.
Outposts.
I haven't done that. Yeah, I haven't done any of that. I've just been sticking to the story missions.
I've also been been getting outposts and going through. We're gonna like talk about this in like Space Skyrim, but all you had to do is like set up an outpost, get some iron and aluminium fed into the storage containers, and then you can just like create adaptive frames so you can get closer to a level 100.
Wow,
that's all you need because I find that outpost to be the buggiest part of this whole game. So I think all you need to do is just like get one outpost done, and that's all you need because unless you want to build a house somewhere on Earth, then it's pretty much like just as useful for like power grinding, and that's it. Because
I might do that.
I'm not that impressed with outposts, but yeah, it does serve the purpose of like cheesing the game. So yeah,
I'm not much for cheesing it. I think I probably should at some point, but yeah. Also, I just put the fan on because it's a bit hot in here. I hope that's all right. I hope you don't get picked up on the audio.
That's all right.
Cool. Of course, there was something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So you're talking about power leveling as well. Apparently having relations with your wife or husband
like
also gives you extra boosts. Yeah, gives you extra boost in the XP as well. So that's also worth doing.
Also, certain items give you additional 2% XP as well. So you can get as far as like 17 XP. So it's quite cool.
Yeah. I love this game. I know we're not doing the official reviews today, but we're going to do that next week. but I love this game. This is my favorite Bethesda game ever, I think. And it's mainly because it's sci-fi, and I think that's like I love sci-fi. But yeah, I love this game so much. I can't stop playing it. I'm addicted to it. Literally, as I said, like in the last transition I tried to make, I've been playing Halo Infinite the last day or so, but that's the first break I've had since the game came out. I've literally been playing it non-stop. Like, the Pokemon DLC came out, and I've barely touched it because I've been playing Starfield, and I'm obsessed. And with Pokemon, I literally usually drop everything and play Pokemon non-stop until I've done everything. So the fact that I've barely touched Pokemon is actually a testament to how good this game is, because I'm a Pokemon fanatic, so...
I also like touched on like Mega Man X4 on the Switch, and I've also been playing Street Fighter 6 because, well, it's only a demo, so I can like get the feel of the game and consider this as one of the contenders for Game of the Year.
Because I've got it, I enjoy it, Street Fighter 6, but I haven't played it as much as I would have liked. I literally bought it on PlayStation to play it with the PS Trust guys, and none of them have played it with me, so I'm a bit sad. So... I enjoyed it for what I played. What did you think?
It's really solid. I like the user interface. It's fluid, and I think it's a huge evolution of the game. And I have to say, the single player campaign is kind of a bit bonkers, but you end up loving
it's weird.
it, so it's all good.
Yeah, the single player campaign's a bit weird. I've got a little bit into it. I didn't get too far. I think the only thing with fighting games is they're never going to win Game of the Year, are they? Like in like Game Awards and stuff. That's the only thing. It's like they never seem to get considered. Like same with racing games as well. Like Forza is going to be. I imagine Forza is going to be really good. I don't see that winning Game of the Year, even though it's going to probably be a really quality game, which is a shame. But we will still probably have it in our Game of the Year discussion for sure. I think we're both quite open-minded when it comes to fighting games and stuff.
Yes.
So we'll give it a chance. Mortal Kombat 1 is out soon as well, so that's going to be an interesting one to compare the two, compare and contrast.
I think it's a release date already because it came out on the
19th.
Is it?
I'm in a Starfield bubble. I'm like, don't know what's going on anywhere else. I'm just on Starfield. I only found out about Halo because it came up on my Facebook that there was like a Tenrai update. So I played that. I've unlocked all the Tenrai outfits. If you want to look like a badass samurai, play the Tenrai event. It's a load of free items for your samurai armor.
I need to go deeper into this because Tenrai 3 is an event that's happening from this week, and it will run for 2 weeks until October the 2nd. And this gives you like 10 free items and another chance to buy those Tenrai event goodies from both seasons 1 and 4. But
very good.
There's like the Kitsune emblem as well as some like extra armor pieces for your UI armor. But I think what's really fantastic is that you can actually get a playlist which is known as Tenrai Social, and I think this is where what we should have had instead of a Fiesta is actually the Ninja Slayer, where you just fight with your energy swords and the plasma grenades, and it's all set on video Japan versions of the classic Halo maps. So you've got like one map that's from Halo Infinite, I think. There's another map which I definitely recognised in Halo 5. As soon as I went in there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can recognise this map. Oh my god, that's so good. And there's also another one which is the Japanese version, well, the video Japan version of the pit. So if you've been
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, if you've been on the classic maps, then you should be able to pick up where you can go in these maps. And I think these, along with the game mode, that if you don't mind like swinging your energy sword and spamming plasma grenades, I think this playlist is what makes up the event. And this is where 343 has definitely hit it on the nail. Last year,
I love
yapping.
it. Yeah.
This year, Samwai kind of gameplay.
I really love Halo Infinite online multiplayer now, and I'm really sad that no one else is playing it. I feel like they've really got their stride now. They've really got to go in. I just finished the battle pass, so I'm level 100. So season 5's out soon, so I will be getting a new battle pass for season 5. We've got all the Tenra events, and I'm now silver in the rewards medal as well. So I'm ready for season 5 now. I'm very excited for season 5 when that comes out. But the Tenra event is a lot of fun. definitely check it out if you want to feel like a samurai ninja. This is totally the game mode for you. You got this. You got the grappling hook, and you got a sword. You can just fly around like like just stabbing people. Is so good. Oh, it's so much fun. And I've also played it on my second profile to get free items for my second profile because I'm mad. And you never understood why I do that, but I find it fun. That's all I've been playing. Is there anything else you've been playing, or should we move on to the
Let's
news?
move on because we're already 30 minutes in. Oh no.
And we got loads to cover. So, okay, let's start off with some nice news. Scorchio, I don't know why you put that, but I like it.
Yeah, so
Scorchio. Starfield has become the 5th biggest release in Europe based on sales this year. It has also reached 10 million players. And I'm sorry, I think I interrupted you.
I was going to go into detail, really, because
go ahead.
There is a chart release that reveals that, according to the chart, Hogwarts Legacy is still at the top, and like, boo. But you have Diablo 4, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. They're all at the top. But Starfield has quickly climbed up to the 5th position in the European Week 1 sales. And it looks like, they're on to the successor. And it's even better that these seems to be based on like physical copies or possibly digital sales too. But regardless, so yeah, he's just like, the reason I put this Scotchio is just like, oh, Starfield sales, Scotchio.
Scotchio, why not? It's
Scotchio.
awesome. It's one of the best launches in Bethesda history, so that's really cool. And I'm really happy for them. And I think this has been a really good game, and I think it's worth.
And even like surpassed 10 million players, which I assume Game Pass installs too. So I think this is quite a huge achievement for Bethesda. And anyone who thinks it's a commercial failure for Starfield, they're just assuming that like, oh, it's bad, so therefore it's just not going to sell well. Oh, just rub this 10 million players in your face because it's definitely a huge game. And over the years, I'm hoping it will have a big enough mod support so it can like have all those mods to make the game so much better, and it will turn into an ultimate sandbox game, as well as some quests for you to do.
Sure. Yeah, I just draw a blank. So I really enjoy. Yeah, I think like I got hundreds of hours to this, thousands of. I probably spent hundreds more in this game. It's so good. Like it's a testament to how good this game is that we've both been playing it for a good couple of 100 hours, and I don't think either of us have finished the story yet. Either of us are any closer to finishing it. This game is jam packed. It's a lot of fun and there's so much to do. I'm so excited to keep playing it. I'm gonna basically go straight back on it as soon as this podcast is finished. I'm going back on Starfield.
And I have to edit the video too.
I'm sorry. I'll make the thumbnail and stuff though. I'm sure that'll be fun.
Okay.
So Starfield successful. Let's move on to the next story. Unity. What a shit show that's been. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, but my God, Unity, what are you doing? I mean, this might even be the end of Unity now because I don't think anyone's going to trust them going forward. Even if they backpedal, I don't see anyone. Like, do you think game designers would still use Unity after this? Like, I don't think they would. I think people will be too scared.
And now I'm going to go into the monologue because
go ahead.
There's a lot to unpack here. So
I'm looking forward to this. Get the popcorn out.
Well, Unity at the moment has gone under fire because they recently announced terms and conditions for the game engine where that anyone is able to build games in Unity will be charged for each install of their game. So if they're on personal, they get paid about, I think it's around 20 cents or some sort, but they get to pay less if they subscribe to their services, which means they're trying to reinforce Unity as if it's a paid subscription service. And
making sense.
But what's really bad is that because the people get charged per each install, it just means that if you make any games and you don't have to pay development costs for it, but if you put it on things like itch.io or try to sell it cheap on Steam, you're more likely to get overcharged. And I think this is likely to be abused because they're already like trying to clarify in the terms and conditions to make sure they don't get charged any extra for reinstalls. But when you consider like piracy and people like getting it for free, then this is
Yeah,
then we definitely have a huge problem.
it makes no sense. And it also that's like Game
Because
Pass as well. Go on, sorry. Did I get ahead? I'm sorry, I went ahead. Sorry.
well, I did say there's going to be a monologue because they announced those terms and conditions will come in effect in 2024. Unity has probably temporarily closed its offices over the potential threat of attacks because of the controversial pricing changes. And now that Unity has issued a statement to apologize for the confusion and is looking into dealing with the terms agreements.
Okay. So I mean, they apologized for the confusion. No one's there saying it's not our fault. It's your fault. You're stupid. You don't understand what we're saying. Like, no, Unity, we get what you're saying. You're just greedy people. Doesn't make sense. That's a really bad move, I really think. Go ahead, sir.
Well, because of this controversial terms changes, they now they're now gonna it's now led to developers. I mean, there's YouTubers bringing up this whole issue and how bad it is, but there's a lot of developers who have already backed out, and they're now looking to switch to either Godot or Unreal because they feel as if these whole kinds of things is just likely to affect their development. And I think this is really, really bad because as someone who's actually been doing games in Unity, like I once put holes in the mobile, which is now like removed from the store. But if I kept selling it, then I could get paid more for whenever people make installs. And I'm not actually making a lot of money from there. It's almost as if Unity is trying to profit from my game. And it's just for the reason that I'm not going to go ahead and like try to improve holes and bring it back even to itch.io because I feel it just means, oh, I'm going to end up like having to be paid more. So I have to relearn another games engine or do that. But I'm not, just kind of killed my interest of sorting the game out. But not only that, many developers have already spoke. And now they're just going to switch to another engine, which is going to cause more delays. And it's all because that Unity is actually trying to force people to pay up more. And I think this is just like really, really terrible.
It's just greed at the end of the day. I was also going to mention the fact that your game is called Holes. People who don't know that, it's you made a game called Holes when you just after you finished university. Because when you said I put holes in my phone, I was like, what? What do you mean? It's like just featuring you with a screwdriver in your phone. Holes is your game. Yeah. Also, I could hear seagulls in the background. So just FYI, people wondering why there's seagulls. It's because you're in Cornwall, isn't it? So you like on the seaside ish. Yeah, just FYI.
Right,
just noticed
you don't
that.
have to mention too much because I'm just like got a noise reduction doing editing.
Okay, sorry. I just thought, it's like just if people were confused.
So because of this, like Unity's still looking to deal with the terms and conditions there, but they also mentioned that if people like install the games through Game Pass, it just means Microsoft will cover the fees for those installs. And like, really, Unity has to like try to do cop outs and try to treat Microsoft like some kind of scapegoat. I mean,
I don't think Xbox are gonna be putting up with that shit. I can see their lawyers already getting ready to go. Oh, really? We're paying you extra, are we? I don't think so. We've already signed a contract here, Unity. You can't just change the contract halfway through our bloody. No, I think Xbox is. That's the thing. They piss off Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo here, and I think they're not going to be happy. I don't think any of them are going to put up with that shit. Yeah. Good luck with that, Unity. Jesus Christ.
Well,
idiots.
Well, I think it's just going to mean that the drama still continues, But I think because of this, how bad it turns out, it's just going to lead to like new and former Unity games because the install fees retroactively affects games that have been made on Unity that's been released before, and it just means developers could be pulling out games from like Xbox storefronts and other storefronts, and
Stupid.
and now it's just like more complications too because like there's Hollow Knight Silk Song made using
Yeah.
Unity, but now it's just going to be like, oh, could mean a bigger delay because they may end up having issues with Unity. And also there's Vampire Survivors, which is actually made using Unity.
Oh no, I
The
didn't know that.
developer has came out and said about the issues of how the install fees affect the pricing of it, which could mean it might get delisted and be repurposed in a new games engine.
Oh no, I hope not. I love Vampire Survivors. Yeah. That's so annoying. I hope this gets sorted, but obviously I don't think people are going to trust Unity going forward, and this is bad luck for Unity. I think they've shot themselves in the foot massively. This makes me feel of like this is like Xbox One launch kind of backfiring, like kind of talk, you know? Like, oh yeah, if we got a console for you, it's called the Xbox 360. Like, you know, when Xboxes took 10 years to recover from that. I feel like this is like that level, if not even worse than that. You know, I think this is massive backlash, massive stupid cock up. They need to fix this straight away. They need to get their ass into getting sort this because I don't think Unity is going to be a thing going forward if they don't get this sorted quickly. Even if they backpedal, I don't know if people are going to trust them going forward. Like, would you make a game for Unity now? I wouldn't.
Oh, no.
I definitely would.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. They've built a lot of bridges here, and I think they need to get that sorted.
Also, also I need to mention that I think there's already like comment section on certain websites, and the people thinking as if people are overreacting and being melodramatic about the terms and conditions. I think they will just like stick to it in the end. And like, well, it's not like we have to like instantly pull out when it's like, oh, we are gonna get charged per each install because Unity is like, oh, don't worry, we'll try to sort that out so it's easier for you. But they still like gonna double down on the install fees, which still means that developers should be right to worry and just move out and go to other engines. Also, the Godot has already added things like C# programming things and all those bits, and there's even Humble Bundle who's already like released a bundle which gives you all the resources to help you develop games on Godot. So
well, I definitely do that. I think that's something I might buy myself. Actually, now you've said that, I was going to say as well. I don't understand how they can retroactively do this. That's another thing I don't understand. Like, surely people have signed contracts and they filled these things in. And you can't literally just go, we want money from something you made like 10 years ago. I don't understand how you could do that. I don't even know how you physically can retroactively do that. Like, surely people have signed contracts and stuff already. It seems weird to me that you can physically do that. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but to me, this seems a bit weird to me that you could retroactively charge people for games they made 10, 15 years ago. I don't understand that, but okay. It's weird. Yeah. Anyway, I think that we've still got a lot to cover. We've only just got through the Unity stuff. So, do we want to talk about the Fantasy League? I mean, we've got a little bit to cover, but not much. Liza P's done well, and that's about it, really.
Just a couple of things. Liza P is above 80. Mortal Kombat 1 is close to 90, but it's like 86 or 87. And puts me in the firm first, and you lost points because you counter-picked Mortal Kombat 1.
Well, god damn it, because I didn't think it would come out this year. I didn't think there was any chance that it was coming out this year because it wasn't even announced. So that's annoying. Well, I might as well just give up. I've lost, haven't I? Let's be fair. I thought I could catch up, but that's the final nail in the coffin, I think, there. Damn, that's so annoying. Oh, well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, next year.
And we got some news that just came out and says here, UK's preliminary judgment on new Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal reportedly due next week, so we could be expecting something to come out of the CMA next week. So, are you
Okay.
hoping this will turn out well for Microsoft?
And let's just hope it gets done because I'm fed up of hearing about it. Let's move on with it. Also, I just wanted to mention as well the Cocoon's coming out next week.
And it's coming out on their Game Pass as well. So.
Yeah, I was shocked that it's actually has been promoted. Also makes me think they might get a bad review. I don't know.
Well, I think it's just made by the similar guys who did Inside and also Limbo, I think. So I imagine this will be quite a good one.
Ahead of me, I've still got Forza, Mario RPG, Mario and Persona 5 Tactica, Alan Wake 2. So I've still got some big hitters, but I think you've won, really. I don't see how I can pull this gap back. I'm about 99 points behind you. So, frustrated. And you've still got Metal Gear Solid, Sonic, Cocoon, Ghost Runner 2, and Mina the Hollower to go as well. So, and Hollow Knight, if that comes out. But we've still got loads to go.
We'll just have to see about that. So, until then, it's just like, yeah, it's cool. Anyway, so...
Let's move on to our topic of the show, shall we?
Yeah, I think this is...
Topic of the show. We got a lot to cover. So, topic of the show, it is the biggest leak in video game history, in Xbox history, in history of the universe. Xbox have messed up. They sent the wrong. They sent a document to the FTC and they didn't redact any of their information. So they've basically given us all the information of what Xbox plans are for the next 5 years until 2028. We got a lot to cover, so there's loads of stuff here. The Xbox leak is insane. I think the first thing we should cover is...
well, what happened is...
go ahead.
Shortly after the FTC case, apparently the FTC has been doing the document, and now they just got the system sorted out, so they uploaded the document, and then the document has been leaked out, and it's been a huge talk for quite some time. And it just reveals the likes of consoles, games, and even figures as well. And I think, a lot of stuff. And this even leads to Phil Spencer being disappointed about the leak. So
so that's what I was going to start off with this. So Phil Spencer's basically set out a tweet saying he's disappointed about the leak. He says the information on the slides are a bit out of date, and they were looking forward to showing the updated plans when they are ready. So essentially, he's covering his ass, which is like fair. Like obviously, not all of it's going to be the same. Some of it might have changed. Like, are we still going to get an all digital console? Are we still getting all these games that he's announced? Like some of them might have been cancelled, some new games might have been added. You don't know. So there is still some stuff, but the fact that we've got like this was all official documents from 2020-ish. So these are all real. A lot, and like a lot of these plans are probably going to still be the same. So it's interesting to see. But yeah, it is sad for Phil Spencer and his team. But it's good for us because we talk about Xbox, so we've got lots to talk about. So up first, we have a brand new console, the X Cylinder, the X Tube. It's an Xbox, but it's a tube shape. Looks kind of like Amazon Alexa or like an air purifier or something. I like the shape. It's cool. I think it looks nice.
Wait,
what do you think?
Just wait, because I'm just trying to bring this up. So, wait a minute. That looks massive here. If I just squeeze that in, yeah, I'm just not a fan of like how the software deals with it. But anyway. So this right here, this console here is known as a brand new Xbox Series X, which is turned from the cube, well, the rectangle. Actually, is it the
cuboid
box?
Say cuboid?
Yeah, something like that. And it's just for the reason that, well, actually, I'm going to be honest, this does look like a Wi-Fi mesh.
I still like it. I think it looks cool. I like the new design. The as I said, it looks like an Amazon speaker or something. But I'm cool with it. I think it's a nice little design.
That's a way of putting it. So basically,
the only problem I have with it is that I have my Xbox on its side. So if I bought this one, it would just roll away. Like I can't. I don't think I can put it on its side anymore, which is really off-putting. I need to find space for it if I get the new one, which I
Well,
probably won't. I'll probably stick to what I got, to be honest.
I
Anyway,
don't
sorry.
think this is something that is going to be an essential purchase because according to this
No.
picture here, if it's going to be true for like if it's going to be true that this is what we're going to get next year, because
Mhm.
it's slated for October the 2024, it says here that Brooklyn, codename for it, will deliver 4K Gen 9 console gaming with more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power, a more immersive controller, and a beautiful redesign that elevates the all-digital experience of the Xbox ecosystem. Giving our fans more to
Adorable.
love, beautiful and innovative new design, more internal storage for games, and USB-C front port with power delivery, all new more immersive controller, and is all sold for the same great price. Then there's
So,
updated technologies, which is all new Southbridge to modernize I/O and sustainability efforts. It also comes with Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2, as well as a 6mm die sync for improved efficiency. I think it's referring to the
all that
CPU,
means.
but it has improved sustainability, which reduces PSU power by 15%. A new low power standby mode is 20% of the current XSS standby mode. It has an increased use of PCR and housing to 30%, as well as 100% recyclable packaging.
It's a lot to cover, yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing that people will notice as consumers is the biggest change between the two, between the cuboid and the cylinder, the old X and the new X, is that the original X has a disk drive. The new one doesn't have a disk drive, but has an additional terabyte of storage. It's like, do you want to spend the same? You got the same amount of money. Do you want to get a disk drive, or do you want an extra terabyte? That's basically the trade-off here. I'm mainly play stuff digital, but I still like to have a disk drive. Honestly, so I don't think I would change to the new Xbox. Also, I like to have, as I said, I like to have my Xbox on its side. So having a cylindrical one seems a bit strange to me. But I think it's a cool little console. I think if you're a digital only person and you don't care about discs, I think it's a worthwhile investment. What do you think?
Well, my only disappointment is that I don't think it's likely to improve on how you can get performance on it. Like, people have been like asking for the Xbox Series X with improved internals, because if you
like a Pro.
if you look at like Xbox One, you get like the quintessential Xbox One system, and then you have Xbox One X, which is originally called Project Scorpio, which has 4K resolution, meaning it has better internals. But this one is just pretty much a bona fide Xbox Series X, which does the same performance, only like more sustainability. So we're just talking about like an Xbox 360 Slim, only it's turned into a cylinder of sorts.
Yeah, it's just like a slim. It's essentially a slim version of the Xbox One, and it hasn't got the Xbox Series X, even not the Xbox One. But it also doesn't have a disc drive, which is like, I mean, we've had this discussion about digital versus physical for a long time. I'm a huge fan of digital. I'm Game Pass obsessed. I have most of my games digitally, but I still like the idea. I don't like the idea of having no disc drive and not being having the option. It's like, there's always nice to have the option to buy a game cheap secondhand or to play all my Xbox 360 games, you know? So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about having no option for a disc drive going forward. But I think this proves that Xbox is going all digital going forward. There's going to be no option for a disc drive by looks of things. Like, if it's the new X, the new S is, and obviously you've got a new S, which also doesn't have a disc drive. So that means the physical games are dying on Xbox. It's no longer going to be a thing.
Well, actually, it's just Microsoft assumed that in this document they say that, oh, the people are excited for the digital only future and they don't miss the disk drives. And I think this is a bit preposterous, because people still rely on the disk drives. It's just assuming like, oh, if you want to play Blu-rays, get a disc, or just switch to Netflix. And well, let me look at all the DVD and Blu-ray collections. Are you just saying like as if they're useless unless we get a Blu-ray disc drive? I
I
mean,
think the thing is, I think like I have a lot of Blu-ray films, and I know a lot of people. There's some people who do have a lot of Blu-ray films, but then I feel like the casual market, the majority of people would just watch stuff on Netflix and Disney Plus and stuff. And like the amount of people just, a lot of people have accepted the digital future. I think a lot of people don't buy DVDs or Blu-rays anymore, and I think a lot of people don't buy video games physically anymore either. It's like the same kind of thing, but it's nice to have the option, and I think it's going to be a shame that the option's no longer going to be a thing. Uh, I think I'll be
well,
fine. I haven't bought many physical games for this console. I think Resident Evil 4, Cyberpunk, Yakuza because it was cheap. Oh, and Elden
well,
Ring. So there's 4 games I've bought physically on this console. The rest are all digital.
bear in mind that you have people who don't have internet or have terrible
That's
internet
true.
connections, which means they may not be able to benefit from this unless they download huge games, which are getting bigger than like 30 gigabytes. Because 10 years ago,
That's
games are not that huge, and some internet connections has a bandwidth, I think a download limit of 40 gigabytes. I mean, with
yeah,
that in mind, you now cannot get Starfield on digital, or even like download like more than one game to put on your system. So just
yeah.
imagine
I
this
mean,
here.
counterpoint to that is that you get games like Halo Infinite, which is just a disc and it doesn't even have the game on the disc. It's just you have to download the game anyway. So what's the point? Like they're not even putting the games on the disc anymore. So it's like, what's even the point of owning it physically at that point? It's frustrating though. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think it'll affect me too much because, as I said, I'm mainly a digital owner anyway. But I could see it being very frustrating to a lot of people who want to keep
Yes.
physical collections for sure. I'm hoping there's going to be some kind of like disk drive connection, like you could like buy an internal disk drive, like the PS5 is rumored to have one as well. It would be cumbersome, but for people who really want discs, it's nice to have. It would be nice to have that option, you know. But we'll see. And
Also, bear in
but
mind
it is
it
interesting
relies
because
more on like USB-C, and
yeah,
I think it's convenient for when you charge up controllers. But I don't know
yeah,
what it means for USB devices because I still use USB devices on it, but it's
yeah,
just
me
now
too.
going to push over to USB-C storage plugs to put into it. So
Also, yeah, I was also going to mention the fact that in the UK, we had a news article about this a couple of weeks ago. The Tesco are no longer going to be selling physical games, and GameStop is closing down, or what's called Game Station over here, or Game. A lot of games are closing around here. So basically, no one you can't really buy physical games very like it's a lot harder to buy physical games in the UK than it used to be. So I do feel like we are moving to a digital future, if we like it or not. Unfortunately. So yeah, sadly. Should we talk about this new controller? The
well,
Xbox.
actually, we
Go
also
on.
need to talk about Xbox Series S. So,
Yeah,
do you
looks the
reckon
same.
it's going to look better?
It looks exactly the same as the Series X, Series S already. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like slightly improved. It's like faster internal stuff. So the internal, you won't notice anything from the outside. It reminds me of when they released the new Switch model, which had better battery, but it looked exactly the
exactly.
same. It's exactly the same thing. It's just better internals and probably cheaper for them to manufacture. But apart from that, it's pretty much going to be the same, I'd imagine.
Well, the
I can't see
biggest,
any difference.
it has all the benefits of the new Xbox Series X, and now it's just got like a USB C on the
Terabyte now.
front instead of a USB A, and it's got 1 terabyte, which is the same for 1 terabyte black Xbox Series S. And
Yeah.
this is where I'm like really disappointed because it just seems as if Microsoft hasn't got round to improve the technologies. Like they can squeeze all the 4K technology from Xbox Series X and fit it into this system here, which kind of like makes the Xbox Series S redundant, but it certainly helps because you have 4K coming out from this box, which I cannot take it out in the moment, but it's definitely like really small. And it's almost as if you can stack like a bunch of CDs together and you get a whole console. So, and I was hoping like if you can get the 4K support out of this box and is just as powerful as Xbox Series X, that will be an Xbox Series S you can buy, and that would be so good. And it does look like It's going to be 1 terabyte Xbox Series S. Only it's more sustainable and has better technologies. Not much.
The good stuff about it, though, is they were saying that on Black Friday and stuff, they're going to sell the old Series S, the current Series S, at a reduced price of like $100 cheaper than it was. So if you've been holding out for a Series S, this is the time to get it. You're going to be able to get one super cheap. The older models, like the current models, you're going to be able to get them super cheap Black Friday and stuff. Also, they did say that they're going to be releasing the new Series S about 3 months before the new Series X, I believe. So they has a couple of months of shine, so it can shine. Be fabulous.
Yes, so both of these systems. This will be released during summer or in September, while the new Xbox Series X will be coming around October. But as Phil Spencer said, these plans are outdated. It could improve, but I expect this to be more like for Xbox Series S to be like a Xbox. No, it's like the improved Nintendo Switch, whereas Xbox Series X is going to be more like, how do I put it? Comparing this with the old Series X, it's like comparing the third iteration of PlayStation 3 to the slim PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 is amazing. Then they have to switch over to the one where you slide the disc thing, and there's a bit more.
Oh yeah, that was horrible. That one.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that one. Yeah, I don't know what to think. I'm interested in it. I don't think I'm going to buy it, but it's an interesting little thing. It's not going to be more powerful or anything like that. So it's not a Pro. It's more like a slim model, really. It's just a different design to try and. Yeah. Also, on the notes as well, they did mention Xbox Design Labs, or XDL as they put it on there. So they should be able to get custom consoles as well, which would be interesting.
That's crazy.
Considering that they've just released the wraps, I think, like for the consoles, I think it's a bit strange to be having like Design Labs consoles, but hey, you never know. It just did. So, should we talk about the controller?
Yes. So I got the controller up here. So what it does is SetBio, which is the code name of the new Xbox controller. Mm-hmm. It is designed to be like for cloud gaming. So it has the Play Anywhere, which offers Xbox Wireless 2, direct to cloud. I don't know what that is. Bluetooth 5.2, and it does have a seamless pair and switch, which also comes to the works with the mobile app, which lets you customize it to your heart's content. You can also, it also has a haptic feedback, and it also contains some like speakers and improved accelerometer, but it also comes with like quieter buttons and thumbsticks. Thumbsticks in this case that it should be modular, so it looks as if you can like change them. But it's supposed to be improved for extra longevity. But there's a battery in it which can be swapped out and recharged, as well as some recycled materials for it. And it has like the same ergonomics as Merlin, which I assume is a previous controller. And it does look as if,
trousers.
It does look as if the bottom of it is just got a rubber type feel to it. But I think, to be honest, it's just trying to emulate the DualSense 5 a bit too literally.
Yeah, I hate that. Ugh. Yeah, so it looks like it's wearing trousers or pants, the Americans would call it. I was listening to one of the podcasts, and they said they want to have a custom one where it's like a brown bottom and yellow top, so it looks like SpongeBob. I would totally buy that controller. But anyway, I don't know how I feel about the new controller. I feel like I'm one of the few people who does not give a shit about haptics. Like, I got the PS5 controller, and I just don't care about the haptic. If anything, I find it annoying. Like, especially when the triggers lock into place. Like, you're playing a game and you're like trying to shoot, and it's like you feel like it's like, is my controller broken? Oh no, that's part of the game. Like, it feels like the controller's broken to me when I'm like playing God of War and you've got to pull a boulder apart and you literally can't move the triggers. Bloody annoying. Anyway, I don't want that on my Xbox controller. I'm quite happy with this. I don't need all the haptic crap. I'm not a fan of crap. I'm not a fan of haptics at all. Yeah, it does look like they basically stole all the stuff from the PS5, though. It's got built-in speakers, it's got haptics, it's got all that crap. I do think this is the superior controller, and I know that's an Xbox fanboy thing to say, but it's true. I don't like my PS5 controller, really. I don't care about haptics or the triggers or any of that stuff. So I'm a bit annoyed by Xbox and they're copying them. But hey, that's the future, I guess. Oh, and it's got gyro as well. I hate gyro. I hate gyro. Like I'm playing Legend of Zelda or something, and I'm trying to line up a shot with a bow and arrow, and I'm forgetting this gyro on, and I go, whoa! And I miss every time. So I always turn the gyro off every time. I hate it. I hate gyro. So I know I'm in the minority. I know most people love that stuff, but I hate it personally, and I prefer the controller the way it is myself. But
Yeah. Well,
I'm old man yelling at cloud.
well, there's a couple of things that just kind of bother me. Like the middle button, I don't know if it's a shared one, but if it's supposed to be a multifunctional button there, then like it's just weird. Also, that there's a very glossy white panel there, and I think this is kind of makes it look a bit cheap, and also it's likely to have more like sweat marks on it. So
I never thought of that. Yeah, you're right, glossy. Also, it's got lift to wake technology, whatever that means. I feel like I accidentally turned my Xbox on enough as it is, so the fact that it's got a controller, if I move the controller slightly, it'll just turn itself on. It's like, oh, that's annoying. Like I'll be like just watching something or like talking to someone, and I'll knock the controller off my sideboard or something. You'll just like, bloop, oh, goes the Xbox. Like, no, I didn't want to turn the Xbox on. Leave it. Don't go on now.
It's also a bit of a nuisance there because let's say if you're moving between flats or university places and you want to move the new Xbox out with the new controller.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because if you package your controller, it will keep like turning on when you move around, and it's just like you're just going to end up like replacing the battery in this, or just take it out.
So I'll take the battery out. I would,
yeah.
I would recommend doing that, but it's still annoying. I'm happy with. I'm like as I said before. This is my favorite. One of my favorite controllers I've ever bought.
But
and I don't want to replace it with the pants. The pants one.
But also that there's Xbox is looking to like have a system where you can like pair this with the system without having to leave the couch. So I think to me, it's just trying to make it as convenient for people, which kind of makes it whole process to be much lazier when effectively the Xbox controller is just absolutely fine. I mean,
well,
there's a couple of things that would actually make the Xbox controller better. I don't know about haptic feedback, but the HD rumble that Nintendo Switch has, that would have been more useful for the Xbox controller. But I also think they should include a speaker on there, because if you have a controller that plays speaker like in the DualShock 4 or even like the Nintendo's Wii, I think it's just like adds to the fun immersion. Because I was playing Infinite Second Son, where you just absorb materials. It just kind of plays the power up sound from the controller, which is like quite cool.
I think they said the haptic controller does do that. I think it says it plays sound through the haptic controller. I don't know how it works, but it uses the vibrations to make sound. I think that's what it says, which seems a bit weird, but I think it does say that. A built-in microphone as well, which is also, or maybe I misread that, but I think that's what it said. But I'm happy with the Xbox controller the way it is, but there you go. I'm an old man, so whatever. I don't like change. Okay, so you put down here handheld rumors. So there was a slide saying the things they could be making in the future, but it looks like they haven't got the funding for the handheld. It looks like that's not something they're actually going to proceed on, but it's interesting that they have considered it, which would be really cool. I would love an Xbox handheld for sure, even if it's just a cloud device similar to the PlayStation Portal, but where you can actually use all cloud games and not have to have an Xbox to connect it to. Oh, I forgot to mention, sorry. I was going to mention with the controller, you said about cloud connection or connected to the cloud, right? Yeah. So I think that means that, like, if you've got, like, you could basically get an app on your phone or an app on your TV and just connect it to that. And it's just going to connect like, essentially, instead of having a dongle or whatever for your, or even the keystone, I think the controller will be the keystone, basically. your controller will be your access point to the cloud services. So I don't know, like it's similar to what they did with Stadia. Apparently, I've never used Stadia, but from what I've heard, similar to what Stadia does. So you just need the
Yes.
controller to play online with
There's
the
already
cloud.
apps out
Apparently,
there from Xbox, which you can play on like certain Samsung TVs, and you can even get it on like some devices. So it seems as if Microsoft is trying to roll it out that you're not
yeah.
only restricted to the Xbox or PC, you can also do it for the app that just basically stream from the whole game. So that's what they're aiming to do with it.
So yeah, handheld. Are you interested in the handheld? I think it'd be a cool idea, but it doesn't look like it's happening. What
I
do you
would
think?
prefer a smaller handheld, but I just hope that Microsoft doesn't make it really close to Asus Ally or the Logitech Cloud device, because both of them
Yeah,
already does a job of like playing Xbox games on it. So that's pretty much
that's true.
enough. So if they're
Yeah, I
going to
would.
bring out the Xbox handheld, then they're going to make it really small as a Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy Micro.
Ooh, I
That
would love
would
that.
be a much
Maybe not
better
a micro.
investment.
A Game Boy Advance color size would be pretty nice, actually. Micro, maybe not. That's a bit too small for me. That's like that big, isn't it? But no, yeah, I would like I would like a new handheld console for the Xbox. I think that'd be pretty sweet. I would love to see that. And the PlayStation Portal has put me off the idea a little bit because that was awful what PlayStation have done with theirs. So we'll see.
It's just like you
Um,
split the DualSense controller into two and stick
yeah,
a cheap tablet you can get from Tesco. It just reminds me of a Asus or Google Slate or some sort. Like you get
yeah.
one of those cheap tablets and you can stick it between both controllers.
Well, I've got £100 tablet that I bought from Amazon, and I got an Xbox controller that I'm not using anymore, and I just use that. It's exactly the same thing. I do that in my office when I'm not working. So I just got a spare Xbox essentially. Yeah, interesting. We'll see how it goes. Right now, this is the big news. I think we got a lot of games that have just been announced or think
Ooh.
leaked. Oblivion remake, Fallout 3 remake, Ghostwire Tokyo 2, Dishonored 3, and Doom Day Zero. I think the most important thing to mention when it comes to Ghostwire Tokyo 2 is this was announced before Ghostwire 1 was released, I believe.
Hmm.
Like this slide was put up on there. It was like 2020, I believe. So they didn't know how successful Ghostwire 1 was going to be. So Ghostwire 2 might not actually be a thing. It might just be like the placeholder. They're like, oh, we'll do Ghostwire 2 because Ghostwire 1's obviously going to be successful, and maybe it didn't do that well, so maybe it might not be a thing anymore. I don't know. That's the only thing I want to bring up before we get into real detail when it comes to this. But I'm excited for an Oblivion remaster. I never liked Oblivion because I thought it was a bit uncanny valley. I'm hoping that they got new voice actors in and they can like redo their lines and stuff.
I
That was like
think
the
that's
thing
a
I didn't
lot of
like about it.
expectations for it.
I hope so. I never liked Oblivion because I thought the characters were just weird and creepy, and I thought like it was the same voice actor doing every single role. Skyrim was the first one I really got into, so I'm hoping that they like revamp Oblivion. I would totally play it if they do because I've heard the story's great and the gameplay's fun, and I'm excited for it. What do you think of an
I was
Oblivion
introduced
remake?
to Elder Scrolls through Oblivion, and I
Okay.
played a lot of it, but it is pretty much uncanny, and the camera like goes zooming into the characters' faces. But
Stop, criminal scum!
I just hope that Oblivion gets remade with a creation engine that not with like the Skyrim SSX, but also like use what they made for Starfield and apply it to Oblivion. Because I do find the interface and all those bits seems to be really good for like Oblivion because Oblivion has got a lot of bad design choices. I mean, this was his opportunity to improve the UI for Starfield, and they haven't quite got there. But I think this is what you're probably expecting from like not only like the Oblivion remaster, but also the Fallout 3 remaster. I think I'm most likely to see the remaster of Fallout 3 because I think this is like a much bigger franchise for them.
Oh yeah,
And I only like played for a few hours on Fallout 3 on the PC, and that's it. I got it on Steam
looking forward to it.
anyway, but
Me too.
I think I would rather play Fallout New Vegas than like go through Fallout 3 again. So, but I think the chances are is that Fallout 3 and Oblivion could be remade in the creation engine, improve
I
the
think it's great.
models, and have what they learned from the Starfield. So I think this is pretty much the whole case for it.
I think it's good because obviously Todd Howard's gone like, okay, so our next game is going to be Elder Scrolls, and that's going to come out in 2028, 2029, 2030. And then our next game after that's going to be Fallout 5, and that's going to come out 2036, 2037, 2038. It's like, yeah, we got a while to wait. So it's good that we're going to hopefully we're getting the next gen update of Fallout 4. We're going to still get expansions for Fallout 76. And then hopefully get Fallout 3 remastered next year or the year after. I think that's pretty cool. That it keeps the Fallout fans happy and keeps them busy until Fallout 5 comes out. I think that's a good plan.
Well,
and also Elder Scrolls fans will be busy with Oblivion.
Well, the closest thing you ever get to Fallout 5 is by playing Starfield, because it kind of plays like Fallout 5.
Oh, yeah. It does. It does. I think it is very similar to Fallout, and I enjoy it for that. Also, I thought it was interesting that if we get an Oblivion remake next year, it's going to be the same year as Avowed. So we're going to be kind of a bit overkill with the fantasy RPG, first-person RPGs there, I think. And I think Avowed, looks more interesting than Oblivion, because Oblivion's an old game that's just getting revamped. Personally, I'm more excited for Avowed, but it'd be cool to play both. I'm really excited for some remakes of those games, because I've always liked Bethesda. I've always thought they were really good. I thought Skyrim was great and all that, but I never got that far into it. I think I'm really a dedicated Bethesda fan now after Starfield. I think Starfield has got me hooked now. I think Starfield is my favorite Bethesda game, and I'm thinking as soon as I've spent like 6,000 hours in Starfield and I've done New Game Plus 20 times, as soon as I've literally got everything out of it, I'm very excited to play all these new old Bethesda games. I'm really looking forward to playing Fallout 4. That's going to be remastered soon, so I'm looking forward to that. But playing these remakes, I'm very excited to try Oblivion out again, with hopefully less Uncanny Valley stuff, with less stop criminal scum. I get to see where the Adoring Fan comes from. Yay! His origin story. Are you interested in Ghostwire Tokyo 2?
I haven't thought about it. I only played Ghostwire for about 30 minutes, just for the gameplay video, and then I haven't touched it again.
It was all right for what I played. I didn't play much of it. I want to go back to it. I think I will go back to it if Ghostwire Tokyo 2 gets announced. I might go back and play the first one again and try and get get my full experience out of it. There's so much to play. Oh my god, Dishonored 3 is exciting. But on the other hand, it's Arcane, and Arcane just released Redfall, which was dreadful.
Yes,
and Redfall. I'm hoping that this is going to be a return of form for them. I really do.
I hope so too.
I'm hoping the Redfall was their Fallout 76, and this is going to be their Starfield. I hope. Fingers crossed. And then Doom Day One. Is this a reboot of Doom? Like it's a start, like a new series of Doom, like Day One. That sounds like a Mortal Kombat 1 kind of thing. Like they're recutting the story. What you think?
Well, I was kind of expecting the second sequel to the 2016 Doom. So Day Zero could be refers to a emergence situation and not like an absolute remake. But if they have to remake Doom again, then they just kind of feels like a cop out of like Doom 2016. So hopefully they're not going to reboot it again, because I do like what they did with the Doom 2016. I think the Doom Eternal is just like, it's all right. I think it's just kind of...
I like Eternal.
Yeah.
I prefer Eternal to 2016 myself, but I know I'm again in the minority with that. I'm looking forward to some more Doom. I'm a bit disappointed there's no Wolfenstein on there, though. There was no Wolfenstein on the list or anything like that, which is a bit disappointing.
It did mention Wolfenstein as a franchise, but not as an actual game. But they also mentioned Indiana Jones on it too. So I don't know whether that's going to be still continuing or not.
Yeah, they said Indiana Jones is going to... Well, Todd Howard in a recent interview said that he will talk more about Indiana Jones next year. So I'm assuming it's coming out next year or early 2025. So that's something to look forward to. Okay, so those are the leaked games. Phil Spencer wanted to buy Nintendo. Like, no shit. I don't think this is a newsworthy article to me because like people are like really reaching into this, but it's like, hey Phil, it's like, hey guys, would you like to date a supermodel? Yeah, I guess so. Or like, oh, would you like £1 million? Yeah, of course. Would you would you like to sign LeBron James to your basketball team? Would you like to sign Messi or Ronaldo to your football team? It's like, yeah, it's Nintendo. Of course you want Nintendo. Who wouldn't want Nintendo? That's what I don't understand. It's such an obvious thing. Like, everyone would bloody want Nintendo. What do you think?
What I think to me is that Nintendo is probably not likely to like be open to this offer, but they still have a partnership with Microsoft, so they already like going through with it. But I think it just seems if Phil, like, if he ever buys Nintendo, it will like really turns Microsoft into a huge monopoly of game companies.
Oh yeah,
and this will actually change the entire games industry. But I think, to be honest, I think that Phil will have far better chances of buying Sega instead of Nintendo.
We always talk about how much we want Sega and the Xbox full. I would, part of me would love Nintendo to be on Xbox because I would love to have like Game Pass and have all the Nintendo games. I wouldn't have to pay for them, but I think Nintendo needs to stay independent. I think we need that competition. I don't think I'll be happy with it really, but he said, like, you know, basically this email. I haven't read the. I don't read it word for word. But I'm paraphrasing, but essentially he goes, "Yeah, we would love to have Nintendo. Why wouldn't we? Like, of course we would, but it's not likely to happen because they're sat on a pile of money and they want to stay independent. So there's not likely to happen. But if the occasion ever rises, sure, we'll buy Nintendo. And it's the same with Valve as well. He said the same thing with Valve. So if either of those companies come up for sale, expect Microsoft to make a bid, but they're not likely to go up for sale anytime soon because they're both doing very well. If the Switch 2 is a massive flop, then maybe we might see Nintendo go to Xbox, but at the moment, no. Also, I thought it was interesting, this email was in 2020, just after Animal Crossing came out, which was like basically peak Nintendo. That was like Nintendo when they're like their prime. That was when they're like super successful and you couldn't get a Switch to save your life. So the fact that, of course, you would want Nintendo at that point, Jesus.
Well, also that Phil's looking to get Valve, but I think to me that I think it's better that Phil should be working with Valve because I think Valve wants Game Pass to come to Steam. So it's just so weird for Microsoft to say, I don't want to put Game Pass on there and prefer to like stick it on the Microsoft storefront. But they would rather like buy Valve instead. And it's just like, I mean, come on. Can you just at least like agree to put Game Pass games on the Steam? Because Steam is pretty much considered to be a much better storefront compared to the Microsoft Windows Store.
Everyone loves Steam. That's the thing. Like, Steam is the quintessential PC like marketplace. I'd be interested to see if they did. I feel like that would make Xbox kind of a monopoly when it comes to the PC space if they owned Valve. I mean, that would be a bit too much. The only competition would be like what, GOG and Epic Game Store and maybe Origin. Is Origin still a thing? I can't even remember. But yeah, it's like I don't think I would want as much as I want Xbox to expand and buy new companies, I wouldn't want them to buy Nintendo or Valve. I don't think personally. I think that's a bit of a bridge too far, really, when it comes to competition. But it would benefit us as Xbox gamers, I suppose. But it would be intriguing.
Well,
could you imagine
I think the fact that if Microsoft like trying to set up a monopoly and even go as far as like buying Nintendo and Valve, I think it's just going to leave to a lot of squishy, and it just seems as if Microsoft is really greedy to like conquer as many gaming franchises as they possibly can, and trying to leave Sony in the dirt. Because if you think about it, like Nintendo is like a huge has an uncontested position and has no one else to compete against them, and even Sony couldn't be able to do well against them. So just imagine, like, you go in the whole place and then the only thing you can get to play games is by getting an Xbox because all the other competitors are being bought up. So I think this is a matter of a bit of a concern, even though the Microsoft's Xbox is now trailing behind, like, Switch and as well as like PlayStation 5. So it just seems
Well, I
as if
thought,
my Xbox really wants to give them a piggyback just to get to the first position. It's crazy.
I think obviously it would put Xbox in an enviable position. If they had Nintendo and Valve, they would be literally unstoppable, really. But it's like all of the Infinity Stones. They have all the power. No, I also thought it was interesting. This, if you read this email, they also mentioned Warner Brothers and ZeniMax. And ZeniMax they actually own now. This is before they purchased ZeniMax. They mentioned how this would double their portfolio if they did that, which they have. And they said Warner Brothers would be a great purchase for them, but they wouldn't get the IP with it, so they don't see the point, really. So they wouldn't get back. Hi, doggy! My dog decided to attack me. They wouldn't get Batman, basically, so... yeah, this is my dog. She's 14. She's a bit loony. You a bit loony? Yeah.
Oh, that's
anyway, oh. But yeah, what were you saying? Yeah, ZeniMax. They've bought ZeniMax now. This is before they bought ZeniMax, so this is like a couple of years ago. And as I said, like, who wouldn't want Nintendo in their portfolio? If Sony had the opportunity to buy Nintendo, they would. If Amazon or Tencent or any of them wanted to buy it, of course they would. Like, Nintendo is like is the crown jewel in the gaming industry. It's like buying Disney, isn't it? It's like it is Nintendo has the IPs in gaming. Like, they are the kings of the IP when it comes to gaming. So yeah, I don't think it's a shocking email at all. I think it's pretty straightforward, and it's a bit of, people got a bad idea from it, but you know, I think if they buy Sega, I think they'll be good. That's what we want. I want Sega. Yeah. Anyway, back on topic. What else did we say? Oh, Phil Spencer came out and said he was happy when he saw the Sony presentation for the PS5. He was happy with the Xbox, thinking that we have a better product than Sony, and we have all the ingredients to win this generation, which was interesting, which I kind of agree with. I think the Xbox Series X is better than the PS5. I would say that because I'm an Xbox fanboy, but I honestly do think the Xbox is better. I own both, and I prefer the Xbox personally.
It does sound as if Phil is like... I think it just kind of sounds as if Phil would probably say, like one of the characters from the show, is like, everything's all in place, and just like goes on to like take over everything in this gaming world.
Yeah, Xbox being big evil, is it? Okay. We'll take over the world.
I think it's just it'll be worth 2 Spencers, really.
I think with this email, basically, he was saying he was worried about having a similar launch to the Xbox One, where essentially PlayStation undercut them by £100, and they had like the Kinect bundled in, and it was underpowered, and the PS4 was more overpowered. Like, he was worried that they wouldn't be on par with the PlayStation, and the fact that the PlayStation seemed slightly less powerful than the Xbox, who made him happy, because he was like, "Oh, good, we can compete this generation. We're not going to get demolished again by PS4." Because they did get completely destroyed in the last generation, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that they should be worried about PS5? I mean, PS5 has obviously been the dominant console this generation so far, but what do you think?
Well, they shouldn't really be too hung up about it and try to emulate it. Just focus on their Xbox, because eventually Sony's going to run out of games to release for the PlayStation 5.
Oh yeah, they already have. You've got Spider-Man, and that's it. my dog decided to knock the cables. I hope that's all right.
Sit down.
Foam Stars. You got Foam Stars, guys. Look forward to Foam Stars next year. Woohoo! Foam Stars. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, well, so this ties in perfectly to the next email we're going to discuss. 2022 was a disaster for Phil Spencer. Said it is an absolute disaster that we've had to have a 16-month gap between Halo and the next AAA game, and the next AAA game was Redfall. So it's not even like it was a good 16-month game. Oh god! But this makes me feel like what PlayStation's at the moment. They're kind of having a bit of a dry spot. They're in a bit of a dry patch at the moment. Xbox was in a dry patch for 2022. We were on the podcast talking about it. We both enjoyed Grounded, and we both enjoyed. Well, Pentiment, we admit Pentiment's a good game, but I never really got into it. But we didn't have any big games, I think, which is unfortunate. What do you think of 2022? I think it was a bit of a blunder.
Well, to me, I think the late 2022 is pretty much like pretty dry because there hasn't been like any major games, even though you already have like sort of Flight Simulator, Grounded, and whatnot, and there's like Halo Infinite as well. So I think that it's pretty much like trying to go through the back catalogue. Whereas this year is like supposed to be big, but I think I find 2023 to be much worse. That apart from Hi-Fi Rush, that's huge, really huge. Because, but then you have like there's Minecraft Legends gets neglected pretty badly. There's a last case of Benjamin Fox of some sort, but there's Redfall that's turned into a dumpster fire. And now Starfield, which is supposed to be the system seller of the Xbox, ends up getting a Metacritic of less than 90, and now it's just been lambasted. But I think hopefully people will get around this whole launch shenanigans and enjoy the game for what it is. But it still leaves with the only Microsoft game to come out this October, and that will be Forza Motorsport. So it will be interesting to see how this really develops for 2023.
It's going to be interesting to see how Call of Duty does as well once Xbox gets their hands on it. But yeah, I was I really like Starfield. I don't care what the reviews say. I think Starfield is a once-in-a-generation kind of game. I think it is worth buying an Xbox for. If you're on the fence about buying an Xbox, if you're not an Xbox owner at the moment, I would recommend getting Starfield and getting an Xbox. I think it's worth it. I love it. So I think and there's some reviewers who don't like it, but I don't understand why they would give it a 4 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. I don't understand that logic. We've had the discussion multiple podcasts.
I think Starfield has already gotten to the point where it still has a few teething issues, and I can see why people would probably be better off like getting on Steam, especially have mods that improve the whole experience. So it's probably just there. But then, like, if you have an Xbox and Game Pass, Starfield's already ready for you to try on either Xbox or PC. So you're not pretty much missing out anyway if you're on Game Pass.
I think they're great games, personally. I love Starfield. But Forza's going to be great. And then hopefully next year we've got a really good lineup of games. There's a big lineup of games for next year, so there's hopefully we're not going to get this 16-month gap again like we did in 2022, which was disastrous. We were saying it at the time; it wasn't great. There was still games to look forward to, but it wasn't anything like major. We had like season 2 and 3 of Halo. We had Grounded. We had Pentiment. We had like some smaller stuff, but we didn't have anything like tentpole. Whereas next year we've got a couple of tentpole games hopefully coming out, so fingers crossed.
Yes.
Okay. Xbox underestimated Baldur's Gate 3, and also have they leaked Red Dead Redemption 2 Xbox Series X port? Question mark. Ooh. Basically, they were looking at big Game Pass games to fill the gap of the Xbox portfolio. They said Baldur's Gate 3 was a second run game of a Stadia game, and they were only willing to spend £5 million on it on Game Pass, which is like much cheaper than they pay for most games on Game Pass. So essentially, they thought Baldur's Gate wasn't going to be worth the investment, which is a shame because everyone seems to love Baldur's Gate 3, and it seems to be the game of the year running. I haven't played it yet, but I've heard it's supposed to be good.
It's big on PC, and now it's like one of the games to buy for the PlayStation 5 this year, which is why it's a massive disappointment that it hasn't got over to Microsoft when the game launched. But people are still working on bring Baldur's Gate 3 over to Xbox, so watch this space. Also, it's interesting you brought up Red Dead Redemption. The only thing I saw out of that was the original Red Dead Redemption coming over as remastered, at least coming to the Switch. So it's interesting to see how they goes.
They were saying that they wanted to get a Red Dead Redemption 2 day one Game Pass deal. So what do they mean by day one? Do they mean a remake or like a Series X port, like a 4K 60 frames per second version of it? Like they re-released Grand Theft Auto 5 for the Xbox Series X, so I thought they might, like the rumor is they might be doing the same for Xbox Series X, but it hasn't been announced yet. There's also the rumor that since they had the Grand Theft Auto trilogy was a bit of a flop, they kind of decided to pull back on remakes and re-releases for now because they messed up royally with the Grand Theft Auto
Oh
trilogy.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I just thought it was interesting. So you put this one in here. Microsoft now says all digital future is outdated. I didn't see this bit.
Well,
What was
actually, I
this
think it's
about?
referring to Phil Spencer saying all plans are outdated.
Oh, the outdated plans. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. So
But
I mean, we've
there's
already discussed the
also,
all digital.
yeah, so
Um,
also that the next gen consoles could be tipped for 2018.
yeah.
So
2028. Yeah. So 5 years from now, we will be getting the next Xbox, whatever it's going to be called, and it looks like it's going to be the main gimmick for it is there's going to be part cloud, part console. So basically, they're going to be using the cloud to do like some harder, like some like more crazy stuff, which I'm not super a fan of. I don't know. They were saying this about Crackdown 3 when they first announced Crackdown 3 like 10 years ago. They were saying that the cloud was going to do some of the like heavy lifting. Uh, it'd be interesting to see, but then also means like, what does that mean for old? Like when a game gets old, when the game's been out for like 2 or 3 years and the servers go down, are you gonna still be able to play it if it's like a console cloud hybrid game? You know what I mean? Uh,
well, I think there's also like Microsoft Flight Simulator, which
that's one like
uses
as a
the
good
cloud
example.
to bring the maps over to the game. And I
Yeah,
think
that
it's just
works
like
well.
Microsoft would rather like rely on the cloud to deliver a lot of the work there. But I think to be honest, it's like if Microsoft decides to switch over to cloud instead of like having consoles, then
Yeah.
I think this might be a drop off point for me from games because I like
Oh
games
wow.
where I can like put them on the console and play them. But if they're going to start like having to bring everything to cloud, then I had to
Mm,
leave because I just feel
wow.
like in the UK in the moment, internet connections and the broadband
Yeah.
speeds, it hasn't got faster, it hasn't been spread out, and I'm still on a slow
No.
connection. Like I know that people are like on 5G or in fiber to the premises things, and like, oh, we got faster internet, but so far there's been a lot of disorganization to bring even faster speeds across the entire country. And I feel
Mm,
that once Microsoft's about to jump into this whole cloud hybrid train, then I think I could
yeah.
see UK like pretty much falling off the whole train there. And I think this is a
Maybe.
very serious thing. I would rather
I mean,
have a console that has perfect ray tracing and play games without having to treat it as if it's the next Stadia.
yeah. I mean, it's going to be a hybrid though, so I think there's still going to be a powerful console there. It's just they're going to do extra things with the cloud, or at least give the option to developers, which would be interesting. Also, they were saying that it's going to be more like a hub, I guess, so you can play games in different places. So it's like going to be more of like a Switch essentially. You can play it in different places and stuff. I don't know. It sounds interesting. I think this is still early development. This is like 5 years away. I think they might completely change plans by then anyway. So this is 5 years off. This is 2028. So, I mean, the internet infrastructure might have improved by then. We might have gone through nuclear apocalypse by then, and the world might have come to the end by 2028. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in 5 years' time? But the idea is a console that's going to be like use the power of the internet to like make it better. I don't know. It's going to be a bit more seamless. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I'm intrigued, but I'm happy with what we got at the moment. Yeah. So that was we pretty much covered the entire leak here. There's more stuff in there, I'm sure. There'll probably be more coming out, but that's about as much as we really wanted to cover today.
So, what's your closing
Um,
thoughts on it?
it's sad that it's sad that it's been leaked, but I'm interested in like I think the future of Xbox looks bright. I think it looks really good. I'll be really interested to see what happens once we get the Activision deal done, and if they're going to try and approach anyone else. Um, I'm interested in the new cylindrical Xbox. I think it looks cool, but I don't think I'm going to buy it because I've got a disc tray already. I don't know.
I'm not impressed with the consoles and the controllers in this because it just sounds as if they haven't done enough work on like the consoles and the controllers just to satisfy people, and it just seems like the controller is like trying to copy DualSense 5, and
which I'm not a fan of the DualSense, to be honest.
and also I think they're just like dealing with the games, and I think it's interesting, but Microsoft could have been a lot better. But also, if Searle says it's an outdated plan, then hopefully the feedback that comes for the leak would actually help him and the Xbox team to improve the plans, and hopefully we get something a lot better than what the document entails anyway.
What I feel like is also I've picked up from all these like leaked documents and stuff is in the podcast we'll say stuff like, Xbox should buy Sega. Why haven't they bought Sega? Or like stuff like, they should invest in Nintendo, blah, 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 blah. They have these exact discussions we've had in Xbox internally. We're not just privy to it. Like it's like obviously Phil Spencer knows what he's doing. I feel like everything we've said they should do, they have actually had discussions about in the past, which is interesting to me. I found that really fascinating. The biggest thing for me with this leak is that I'm interested to play Fallout 3 Remastered and Oblivion Remastered. I think that'll be fun. As I said, I'm now a new converted Bethesda fanboy. I'm going to totally be into all their games going forward, I think. I'm very excited to try some more Bethesda games out, especially if they're nice and remastered and shiny and new. Like, ooh, pretty shiny. And I'm excited because they said they got more to announce that they haven't leaked, which is also very exciting. So, we're going to get some new Activision games, some new Blizzard games, and probably some first-party games as well that haven't been announced as well. So that's going to be exciting.
This
what do you
leads
think
to
about
my question for you is, since you're into like Bethesda, what would you reckon will be the next Starfield?
Ooh, in which way now? So I have a question for you, Chief. The next Starfield. Is in what way? Is it like what's the next big IP for Xbox, or what's going to be the next big RPG?
Well, what's the next big game that Microsoft is likely to have so much marketing for it?
Okay, so next year we're getting Avowed, Hellblade, Towerborn, Flight Simulator 2024, maybe an Oblivion remake, or maybe Fallout 3 remake. So that's next year. I don't think any of them are at the same level as Starfield, honestly. As much as I like Avowed, I think Avowed looks really cool. I don't think it's going to be up to Starfield level. I think the next big, like, massive game is either going to be Gears 6, which hasn't been announced yet, but I imagine that's going to come out probably next year or the year after, or Fable. I think that's the next big one is going to be Fable. I think that's going to be the next big one that they put marketing behind and is going to be the big system seller. I think Avowed and stuff's going to do great, but I don't think it's going to be a system seller. I don't think, as much as I'm really looking forward to it.
I disagree because Obsidian has been doing a fantastic job with Pegadent, Grounded, and even Outer Worlds. And I really trust them to bring out a follow-up to Oblivion. So I think once they get through the Avowed, I mean, since the Obsidian has been doing so good, I reckon it will be so fantastic that they may even have the separate direct for it, and they may even have all the marketing just to get Avowed ready. But I can see your point that the Microsoft would rather put more eggs in the basket for Fable, for instance, or even Gears 6. But I think that
Call of Duty next year is one.
But I really do see Avowed being the next big thing, and it's something I'm looking forward to the most than any other.
Me too. I'm honestly saying I think Avowed's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to Avowed, but I feel like Avowed's not going to be the same level of hype and scrutiny as Starfield's going to be, is what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to sell as well. I don't think it's going to get promoted as much. And I think it's going to be a smaller game, which is good. It's not 1,000 hours. It's going to be more 50, 60 hours, maybe. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be great.
That's going to be good for bugs anyway. And also, Grounded has already got plenty of bugs in it. All you had to
Hey,
do
try
was walk
spiders.
through the ground and you see a spider.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that joke. But no, I agree with you completely. I think Obsidian is the MVP of Xbox at the moment. They are the best developers that Xbox has. They're the Insomniac of Xbox. They're the ones cranking out all the best games. So I think I'm really Avowed's the game I'm most looking forward to. But I think if we're talking tentpole game of the generation, going to be mass marketed, I don't think it's going to be Avowed as much as I'm really looking forward to Avowed. I think the next big one is going to be Fable. I think that's the one they're going to put all their money into. Maybe Hellblade, but I'm not super into third person like walking simulators. That's why I don't play PlayStation. So
Like, that's really good. And I think we had this chat because it's going to be like a topic of this week. But then news blew over. It's like, wow,
yeah,
so much to go through.
a lot of news.
And it's also one of the longer episodes. So we're going to wrap this up and say thank you for listening to this week's episode. I did literally worry it's going to be like 3 hours, but we pretty much handled the basics under like 2 hours. So well done.
We had a lot more news to cover as well, which we cut out from the show because there's so much to cover. But we'll cover that all next week. There's so much to cover in this leak, and we really appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please comment, like, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We're still a small channel. We're trying to grow. We want to get to 250 subscribers by the end of the year. Would be pretty cool. We're like 222, I believe. So we're not far off. So if we get to 250 million, that'd be amazing. 250 subscribers would be really appreciated. Comment, like, subscribe, share it with your auntie and your uncle and your dog and all that. I don't know. Just share the video, please. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, too sweet.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.